I cannot stop 3D printing things. And I'll tell you why. Actually, maybe you should know why. If you've watched the videos, the most recent videos, or maybe the most recent stream on my YouTube channel, then you know that I got a brand new 3D printer. Yeah, I ditched the good old DaVinci Junior 1.0 for the Bambu Lab A1. Before I got this printer, I made a video on my recent journey in 3D printing. And it was like only 2 or 3 printing projects that I've done that I shown off. And this time I have way more. I think it was time for a second episode. Of course, MT Creations creates show and tell won't all be 3D printing stuff. It's just 3D printing stuff is what I'm currently doing. So I might as well show off what I'm currently doing. Last episode of MT Creations creates show and tell, I was actually talking about the A1 versus the DaVinci and how one is clearly better than the other. And then after that, I actually bought the A1 and now I have it. So if you see my stream where I unboxed it, then you know that I printed a new benchy on the new one. And I have a benchy from the old one. And the difference is absolutely astonishing. Maybe I'll put pictures up because my webcam does not like focusing. I've already done so many experiments on this 3D printer. I've tried functional objects. I did this spiral light bulb, but it kind of failed. I'll go into that in a bit, but at least the screw works. It's got this little screw on it. That works pretty well. So that's something, I suppose. I 3D printed a chair that I tried to print on the DaVinci, but it could never print it right. But the A1 can. I actually don't call my A1 the Bambu Lab A1. I call her Ayuna. May or may not have come from the anime girl I drew. If you've seen that from my community posts. I think I put in the last show and tell video as well. I don't remember. I got some people asking me why I decided to name my 3D printer Ayuna and why I refer to her as such, like she's a boat. You know what? Dean Winchester was allowed to call his 67 Impala baby, okay? Can't a man name his boat? Can't a man name his car? Can't a man give name to his own son? This printer's my baby, okay? And her name, yes, her name is Ayuna, and she is pretty damn helpful. I know no one's gonna complain about that. I'm just being funny. I'm not funny. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't make a script, nor have I structured this video at all. So I'm just gonna use my blog for help. I wrote a blog on my thoughts of Ayuna. Speaking of which, shameless plug, go follow my blog if you want. I put stuff there. Sometimes I'll write down everything that I'm thinking of, and maybe I'll just make a video on it later. So it's kind of like a free Patreon for this channel. You get early access to content that I have potentially yet to make. I don't know. It's cool. It's not much, but there's plenty of stuff on there. I've already been using it to correlate with some videos and stuff. So I feel like it's just been useful for when I make a video, but I don't want to put in all the context. So if people are confused, they can go to my blog and read all the context. That only happened with my Halloween Advent calendar video, but I'm sure it's bound to happen again. So go check it out. mtcreations.blogspot.com. I guess the next thing I can show is this cool clock. Bambu Lab graciously gave me the components for this clock. It came with Ayuna, and the files to print it came in a QR code that came with the components. The original design on the clock was for Maker World, which is where a lot of their models are from and stuff. I don't know, it's like a Thingiverse type thing. But I wasn't gonna do that. You know me, I like my customization a lot. So I took the files, put it into Blender, made my own custom MT Creations clock. And I already stored some stuff on there. I got this FlexiCat, which is one of those print in place things I've always wanted to test a print in place thing with the 3D printer. DaVinci could not do it for shit, so I tried it. It was one of the first things I did with a unit, and it worked, so that was really cool. I just kind of have this cat here. I also have this slug. His name is Splug. I made one for my girlfriend, and his name is Schlug. And then I made one for my girlfriend's friend, and his name is Harold. This is actually functional too. This clock actually moves. I actually kind of want to put it in the back of some time-lapse videos so you can kind of see the clock move while the printer's printing. If you've seen 3D printing videos, they'll have a time-lapse, and sometimes you'll just see a clock in the back of the video. And I thought this would be a great opportunity to kind of do my own version of that. I just gotta set it up in a spot where a Eunice camera can see. Speaking of time lapses, maybe I should mention this now. I really like the time lapse feature on a unit. Maybe while I say this, I'll just put on some time lapse videos in the background there. The time lapse, there's like this normal time lapse thing, like you have to turn on or toggle the time lapse feature, and it'll do this thing where every time it finishes a layer on the model, the nozzle will move away so it can take a picture, and the nozzle will continue working. And it does that for each layer, and it can cause some surface imperfections. They do have something in place to avoid that, which is time-lapse smooth mode, but what that does is create this big block of filament. So the nozzle doesn't so the nozzle doesn't string from the model, or no stringing is caused. But it's a huge waste of filament, so I don't want to do that. And I don't use the time lapse often, but I figured out that on a Yuna's little SD card, she actually records every model that she works on. So while it's not a traditional 3D printer time-lapse, I could still take these files and just make my own time-lapse with them, which is what I'm probably showing right now in the video. I don't know, I haven't edited it yet, so whatever you're seeing now is whatever you're seeing now, I suppose. Gosh, this is what happens when I don't script my videos. I just ramble. But, was there anything else? Oh yeah, that light bulb that I printed. Yeah, this thing. I actually did a time lapse for this one. I think I was kind of surprised that this failed because Ayuna's been doing so well, but I realized maybe I should have put supports on this thing, and the time lapse sure does move the nozzle around a lot. So it's a nice feature, but it really works best depending on what model you're printing. But otherwise, you can toggle whether or not the printer records the print or not, but I have it recorded so I can make time lapses later if I want to. So that's pretty neat. A unit does print functional objects pretty well, given that there's not a time lapse happening. I actually have a really cool thing I 3D printed, and it's this arm that you can move around. It's actually supposed to be a phone stand. I have to fix the little screw because it does not go through this thing all the way. So it still needs some work, but it works so far. You just kind of attach this to a table, and this can just kind of reach around and hold your phone for you. I've yet to really put it somewhere where it'll work, but I printed it. I printed the whole thing just to test it out because it was really cool. I really liked it. I found this on Printables by a user named Funky Art. So if you want one of these, go check it out. Given you have a 3D printer as well and you like printing things. But this is just one of those tests I did to see what a unit is capable of, and again, reliable, more reliable than the DaVinci. I'm really happy with how this turned out. There's this SD card toaster that I always wanted to print for some reason, and I knew the DaVinci would not be able to, so I printed it with Iuna, and I'm glad it works. I have a mix of models. I remixed models I downloaded. I'll try and make sure I say which one I've made, which one I haven't. Here's a cool model I have made. So I have this mini vacuum, this mini desk vacuum, and I had no idea where to store it. So I made this little compartment where it just kind of sits there, but also the cord can wrap around this. I've yet to attach it to the wall. That's where I'm going to put it. It also has a compartment for the extra little nozzles and stuff. A brush. So it's pretty neat. I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I have more impressive models than this, but this goes to show how I can just design something functional and useful, and Iuna will print it, and she'll print it just fine, and it'll work just fine. So I need to go get some command strips and put this on the wall. I found these models for the Autobot and Decepticon faction symbol, and I decided to make the 2009 Transformers Crunchies. All I had to do was just thicken the base, and boom, got lead poisoning. My desk is a mess. I just filled it with everything I've been 3D printing. I have tiny little Lego bricks that I 3D printed. Actually, are they the right size? I think they are. I think I actually printed them to actual Lego scale, and I tested them out, and they're actually compatible somehow. So that's pretty cool. Those are fun. I actually didn't download that off of anywhere. I just went to Lego Studio. Oh my god, my hair is crazy. I just went to the Lego Studio, and I picked out a couple bricks, and I put it through Mecha Bricks where I could export it to Blender, and then I just 3D printed it, and then boom, Lego bricks. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. This is pretty neat. So, Bambu Lab A1s have this process where they extrude a bunch of filament and just kind of poop it out. And it's kind of commonplace for A1 owners to print these printer poop buckets. And I found a bunch that I could potentially print, but they were all really too boring and generic. So, because the term is called printer poop, I decided to make mine into a toilet. This is my own custom-made, modeled from scratch, 3D printer poop bucket that I made for Iuna. And it's worked very well so far. Actually even has a compartment for the extra nozzle, and I'll talk about this nozzle in a bit. But yeah, I'm really proud of the design. I have it marked where I can align this with the printer, so it'll always fall into the toilet bowl each time, and then I can put down the lid and just kind of shake it so it just all kind of comes down to the side and there's room for more. And then when it's full, I'll just dump it in my filament scrap bucket. But it's pretty cool. It served me pretty well. I love the design. I like how it came out. Pretty neat. I might actually share the model somewhere, maybe on Thingiverse, Printables. I'll let my blog know when I do that. That sounds weird, like my blog's like a person. I'll just put it on my blog. If I do that, I'll have it on my blog. So useful. So useful. I'm going to put it over here. I'll show off how I decorated Iuna and how I aligned this thing properly. But first, I still have a couple more things to show I'm really excited about. So, Iuna came with some free gifts because I bought her during their early Black Friday sale. They have these LEDs. Iuna, the free gifts were these LEDs and these LED candles. And each box came with a QR code that linked to 3D printable files that correspond with these items. But they were like Halloween themed. Like I did print one of them. This is like a little flame for this. It just kind of goes there. They were all Halloween themed though, so I decided to just hold on to them until I make my own thing for them. And I did actually, but I'll get to that in a bit. I want you all to meet my good friend Nozzle Toov. I want you all to meet my good friend Nozzle Toov. He's pretty cool. You probably already have seen the pictures I posted of him on my community post. I made a whole blog post about him. I'll share the pictures here in the video as well. So Nozzle Toov is supposed to be this articulated dummy, the Dummy 13 by Sousaphone, and it's just a little action figure. I wanted to test it out because I knew for a fact that a unit could print it, so I tried it out. The parts are a very tight fit. I almost thought that they were just not compatible. Maybe the printer printed them wrong, but I was wrong. A unit was able to print them right, and they fit together. They just need a bit of force to put together. So much so that his middle joint is actually broken, and I gotta replace that. But that's all good. That's cool. I have been printing all sorts of things for him. He's just my little buddy. I carry him around for fun. I made him some toys, a sword, an axe. He's got a little flag. I'm gonna paint all these as well. I'll make sure to give him some good color. There's a shield that I printed to go with the sword. I have to put it together though. He's got a little hat. These models you can find under the remixes section of the printables page for the Lucky 13 Dummy by Sousaphone. He's got a little wrench as well. And he has a gun. I mean, you'll see these when I show the pictures. But yeah, I printed him a bunch of props. Oh, there's also a stand too. So you can kind of stand up, or I might paint this green so I can green screen it and maybe actually animate him. Because I do love stop motion animation. I just don't do it that often. Barely at all either. I named him Nozzle Toov because I printed his internal structure with the 0.2 millimeter nozzle, and then the armor with the default 0.4 millimeter nozzle. And that nozzle, the 0.2 is awesome. I can print things in much smaller detail. I printed this really teeny tiny benchy. It's not going to focus on it, but it's really small, yet it still keeps all the detail that the normal size benchy has, and it's just pretty cool. I'll show off later in the video. I want to stopwatch. I wanted to set up a stopwatch and show off how long it takes to change the nozzle on a Una, because it does not take long at all, and it's impressive to me. And I need to print something for a friend anyway, so might as well change the nozzle up. But first, before I do that, I want to show the other thing that I actually made myself for Nozzle Toov. I got a lot of things planned that I want to make for Nozzle Toov, but this was like the first real big thing I did. So this is like a little stasis pod for him, and I actually decided to use the LED for this. So it just kind of goes in there. Oh, I know it's really bright on the camera. Oh, you can't see it either, but it has this closing door. So it has this door that slides open and closed. Nozzle Toov does fit in there, but I don't want to try and balance him right now. It's hard to stand him up. And yeah, it's just pretty neat. I just thought it'd be a cool thing to do. I modeled it all myself with some measurements. I actually took the parts I took the print files for Nozzle Toov. I put them into Blender. I put together the Dummy 13 in Blender. I actually rigged it as well just to scale it, and that's how I was able to make this. I did some test prints for the connections and stuff, and just to make sure it would all work, just to show off my process a little bit. So there's that. Nozzle Toov also has a little umbrella I made for him. It little stick isn't in all the way. I gotta sand it down. But speaking of Nozzle Toov again, here are those pictures.
So happy together. I can't see me loving nobody but you for all my life. When you're with me, baby, the skies will be blue for all my life. Me and you and me, no matter how they toss the dice.
Nozzle Toov sure is a fun little guy, and I sure will be sharing and posting more about him on the channel and on the blog, so make sure to stay tuned if you're interested. And if you have a 3D printer and want to print your own Dummy 13, go to Printables. The models are by Sousaphone, and it works out great. Now I guess I can move on to showing how I switch the nozzle on Ayuna. And I might as well show off Ayuna herself, because I actually, this entire video, have not shown Ayuna herself. I decorated her. She looks pretty nice right now. Here we have Ayuna. I have not shown her this entire video. Here's her toilet. And I made a little sticker there that tells me where to align it. Move her print bed. Yes. So... toilet line here. That way I can take it out of the spot, put it back in anytime I want. I have made this sticker with her name on it, and it has a little tiny chibi version of the anime girl next to it. Sorry, my focusing is terrible. I'm using my Nikon. I have to focus manually. Here is another little sticker. Oh my gosh. Maybe I should turn on autofocus. Here is another sticker. Just the anime girl Ayuna saying, "I just print it better." Let me home Ayuna so I can manually move her around. So over here on this side we have the Bambu Lab logo. We have a sticker of that drawing I made of MT licking the printer for some reason. It just came from some joke because I was obsessed with getting the A1. And we have a unit saying, what did it say? So this might take a while. And I found a little toon drawing of Benchy there. Up here, next to where the spool is a sticker of a unit saying need a new spool. And then over here I have the logos for Thingiverse and Printables, which is where I get most of the models that I download. I am planning more stickers. Oh, forgot I have this one over here as well of the first drawing I made of the Ayuna anime girl. And yeah, I'm planning more stickers just along here and there. They're pretty out of the way. I'm glad I was able to actually decorate Ayuna without the stickers or anything really getting in the way at all. So now I'll show you how I changed the nozzle. This is the first time I was timing myself on changing the nozzle, and I had actually estimated that it would take around 3 minutes. I did kind of struggle this time. Of course I did, while I was trying to change the nozzle for a stopwatch, but I think if I took out the time that it took to struggle with putting the little rubber piece back in and everything, then it would be around 3 minutes total, maybe 3 minutes 20 seconds. I actually have one more surprise for this video, and that is, boom, the Bambu Lab AMS Lite. I don't have any extra spools to really test it out with right now, so I'm going to unbox it, show it off, look at it and everything, and then whenever I get the extra spools, I'll do another separate video on the aftermath of that. So let's unbox this thing. I'm gonna take my pretty pink princess scissors and open it up. All right, here's our box. Stab it. All right, here's the manual for this thing. I don't know what that is. Disclaimer and safety guidelines and a warranty leaflet. Yeah, I want to keep that. Alright, here's all the tubing for the rest of the filament. Here's the stand. Oh, and literally the rest of it. Woo! There it is, boys. The AMS Lite. Okay, it comes with one of those wrenches. There's just some foam padding in here. I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, there's nothing else. Just more. Probably should not have done that. Well, it's in secure packaging anyway, so it's fine. Yeah, there we are. 4 tubes. There's the stand. Here's the whole thing for it. Holy crap. That would be larger, honestly. Right, there's the stand for it. These little doohickeys. These are the things that the spool's attached to. Okay. It's got a little connection point for the A1. It's got some screws. I should probably open up the manual and take a look inside. It's like the quick start thing. So, okay, I'll attach it to the stand. I might as well. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I see it. There's like a place where the screws go in. Alright. So these things apparently can come right off. I'm not going to try and pry it off because I don't... There's no need for it to come off, so I'm just going to put the others on. Actually, it said read on somewhere that it was compatible with most spools. So I have my. I'm gonna try this on an inland filament roll. It said it was compatible. Oh, it is. Huh. So inland spools actually do work on this thing. That's neat. Although I'm gonna be using more bamboo filament from now on because of their reusable thing. Their spools are actually reusable, and I can 3D print spools too, so it's pretty neat. I'm not good at the holding things in my hands sometimes. My fingers just kind of fail on me. Alright. Those are in tight. The other side. I'm probably not going to do that much multicolored printing. But, ooh, skipping a lot. I certainly like the idea of having this thing just so I can buy multiple spools of the same color, and when I'm working on big printing projects, one spool will run out and it'll just know and move on to the next one. So if I'm working on a big print and the spool I got currently is nearly done, I don't have to worry about it. I'll let it finish. I'll just move on to the other one. Bing bang boom. Like that. So having this thing is going to be really useful and really interesting too. And I'm going to create a lot of multicolored trinkets. Okay, now these. I don't have to, oh, okay. They just fit in like that. Boom, there I got it. They are now secured in their place. It wants me to put it to the right of the A1. But I only have space to put on the left, so whatever. I don't think that's that strict of a thing. It'll still work fine. I'll just probably have to invert it. Invert the way I put the spools in. Just kind of shows me how to load them in. Shows me how to use the. It'll tell me how to assign the colors that I'm using. I already ordered some colors. I ordered regular RGB and then white. Alright, so there we go. The A1, a unit now has a little buddy, AMS. I don't think I'm going to name the AMS. This is like, kind of like a new pair of shoes for a unit basically. It's pretty neat. It's actually like, it's compact. Seems like it could actually fit behind my monitor, right next to a Una. So I think let me show a closer look at this. So it's pretty neat. When I get the spools or the filament, I'll make another video on it just to show it off. But I thought since I have it, I might as well unbox it and show that I have it. So there it is, AMS. Pretty cool. Well, I think that pretty much wraps things up nicely for this video. I've done a lot, got a new buddy, a unit's pretty cool and helpful, and now I have the AMS Lite. Now I gotta figure out where to put it and how to use it as well. So stay tuned for more. I'll probably post other types of content in between, and if not, I'll post on my blog. Link is in the description. That's pretty much it. See ya.